Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Cloud Engineering, and I am back with a new video on AWS services. So AWS services will be contributing towards building your end-to-end AWS project. Just like whenever we build a home, then different mechanics, or you can say carpenter and mason and electrician will play their role to build your entire home. Similarly, multiple services in AWS will be helping you to build your end-to-end AWS project. So let's start with the first thing, that is storage. Okay. So first of all, we need to think about where our data will be stored, whether it is an input data or it can be the final refined output, or sometime it may be some intermediate output. So now we are separating out the storage and processing so that we are not overloading the server for storing the data. So data can be stored on S3, and any S3 service can read or write the data into S3. So this way we can rely on S3 for storage part, and processing part. How do you want to process your data? That completely we can choose from the available options. So let's move towards the processing option. Let me go to the next slide. So under processing, we can have many options. Like the first one is Lambda. Lambda is a serverless offering from AWS. That means when you don't want to worry about server, how to launch a server, how to increase or decrease the capacity, and whenever your task is done, you don't even need to worry about terminating the server. In this case, Lambda can be a good choice, but there is a small challenge that in case your data processing is taking more than 15 minutes, Lambda is not a good choice. In that case, we should go with EC2. That is a remote server which will keep on running 24 by 7 until or unless we are manually stopping it. So when you have large amount of data and your processing time is more, you can think about EC2 servers. One more option we have is ECR, that is basically a container service provided from AWS. Sometimes we want to package the code and as well as dependency, including operating system, so that whenever we are deploying our application on together on a different cloud or different environment, it should not cause any problem. So entire operating system dependency and our project code is clubbed into a package, and that's known as a container. So this way, as per our project need, we can choose the particular compute power. Okay. Now, as we are done with storage and compute, now let's move to the next service, that is ETL service. So in ETL service, ETL basically stands for extraction, transformation, and load. You need to extract your data from any source. That can be, suppose some particular server can be there, or you are downloading some data from a Google Drive, or it may be from S3 bucket. There can be any source of the data. Once your data has been extracted, you need to transform that data. You will be applying some logic over there. You will be cleansing the data. You will be joining this data with some other data, and there can be sometime duplicacy of data. So you may need to remove the duplicate data. So this part is known as transformation. And finally, once your final output is ready, it's time to load the data into the final storage. That can be S3, that can be a database, that can be data warehouse. So that is ETL. So there is a glue service in AWS, and that provides this ETL functionality, and you can perform a variety of jobs there. You can write your Python code that can process your data. Spark is another technology for dealing with large amount of data, and it is very fast as it's a memory based data processing. And streaming is also there. In case some streaming data is coming, that may be coming from a video streaming, audio streaming, or that can be even text streaming. Some data is coming continuously from a source, even that can be processed using your glue jobs. So this way you can use your ETL glue service to process your data. So let's move to the next one. So the next is data warehouse. So data warehouse, once your output is ready, you want to store your data. into some warehouse, there are two category here. One is Glue and another one is Redshift. So Glue is mainly when you want to just analyze your data, because Glue provides you the functionality to read the data, not the modifying of the data. That means you will be only able to read the data from S3. It can directly access your data from S3. You can do some analytics on that, but you cannot modify the data. You cannot delete the data. And moreover, it's serverless, as similar to Lambda. That means behind the scene, you don't need to worry about the processing capacity. On the other side, if we talk about the Redshift, so Redshift is a complete data warehouse which stores the data internally, and it will give you the flexibility to even modify the data, and if you don't need any particular row, you can even delete the data. So as per your need, if it's a read write type of requirement, you can go with Redshift. If it's just a data analytics, you can even go with Athena service, which is on the left side. So Glue and Athena works hand in hand, because Glue will help you to process your data, to clean the data, and finally put the data in S3, and Athena will be reading the data from there. So this is about data warehouse, and let's move to the next service. Next is other services. So when we talk about other services, there are minor small services which will not help you to directly process the data, but they can help you to integrate few services. Like if I talk about the first one, that is SNS, which stands for Simple Notification Service. So it can notify a human being. Suppose some processing is failed. In that case, you need to modify some manager, right? So it can send an email or SMS or Slack message to a particular human being. That can be done. Or if you want to inform other services, for example, if your S3 bucket is empty or someone is deleting some data from S3 bucket, in that case you want to trigger some Lambda. So an SNS service can even inform Lambda that there is a file deleted from S3, and Lambda can take action accordingly. Another service is SQS, that stands for Simple Queue Service. Sometimes your producer of data is producing the data on a higher speed, and consumer of data is not capable of consuming at the same speed. That means we need a queue. Just like whenever we are going to a service center, it may be possible that all the service provider are already occupied and you may have to wait for some time, right? So you are in the queue, and once any of the service provider will be free, they will be providing you the service. In such cases, data needs to be stored somewhere temporarily in a queue, and SQS service will help on that. One more service is CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is a log maintaining service for all the services. If anything is not working as expected, CloudWatch may help you to find the root cause, find the logs, and there are many more things. It can even monitor your resources, monitor your servers, and in case any server is going down, it can take some action accordingly. Suppose your load is increasing on a website, and behind the website there are two servers up and running. In case the compute capacity is being utilized almost 90%, that means CPU utilization is going beyond 90%. In that case, we want to add more server at runtime. So CloudWatch can monitor your resources. It can add or remove the resources at runtime as per the defined criteria. So these services will indirectly help you to integrate many services, and ultimately you will be able to process your data. Okay, so once your final output is ready, definitely you would like to see the data on a different, you can say as a graphical manner, because the top management, right, who are not the technical person, they would like to have a look at the output in a more graphical manner, in the form of graphs, in the form of bar charts and other things. So in that case, the final output should be rendered on a particular data visualization tool. So let me quickly show you what are the data visualization tools available with us. So on the left side, you can see that there is a graph given. That's a bar chart in a different color. There's a point chart as well. There is some value displayed over there. So basically, this chart, or this you can say dashboard, will be taking data from somewhere. Maybe your output is stored in Redshift, and this dashboard is continuously reading the data from your Redshift table. That means as and when the data will change in Redshift, even this dashboard will change. So many data visualization services are available. if I talk about AWS, there is a QuickSight service which can help you to create these type of dashboards. If you are working on Google project, then there is a tool Data Studio that can be used. And from Microsoft, we have Power BI. Apart from these three, there can be many more third-party data visualization tools that can help you to, you can say, visualize your data in a more better way on a particular dashboard. Okay, so with this slide, we are done with like how end-to-end AWS services will be used. These are not the complete list of AWS services. There are many more services because AWS keeps on adding more services to its list. But to get started, to start with any project, definitely you have to think about storage, then servers, then how multiple services will interact with each other, data analytics, whether you need to just read the data or you need to write the data also, and finally you need to visualize the data. So that's all about this video. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, and please share with your friends. Every week I'm planning to come up with two videos on some AWS projects or AWS services. So stay tuned with me. Thank you.